With me, it is the NDTV two-wheeler of the year, the Suzuki Gixxer, which has been really popular of late. So many of you keep writing in about this bike, and for the last 6 months or so, well, Suzuki has already achieved its half-yearly target and ended up selling almost 50,000 of them. That's right, the target for the first year, by the way, was 1 lakh units. Now that target is going to get bumped up because there is another version of the Gixxer that's just ridden into the market, and that's why we've got both the bikes here for you. This is the Gixxer SF. SF is sport fairing, and you can instantly see the difference between the two bikes. That's what we're going to run you through. But you know what, this isn't just about making a higher volume pitch for Suzuki. The company knows that it also needs to target some very strong rivals like the Yamaha R15, and there's another new bike that's just ridden into the market as well. It is the RS200 version of the Pulsar. Ashish Jha was in Pune to ride that bike.
Bajaj has seen a lot of success with its Pulsar nameplate. The last one was the NS, but as you can see, there is no NS over here, so we are obviously not going to ride that bike. We are here for something that's completely different and something that's hailed as the next level in the line of evolution.
Yes, the 200 RS is based on the NS, but there are differences that go beyond the fairing. The RS200 has the same engine, but it gets a new head and, more importantly, fuel injection as against the carbureted fuel supply in the 200 NS. That takes power up 1 bhp. The throttle response is definitely crisper and more instant on this bike, and that's, well, sort of needed to offset the extra 15 to 20 kgs of weight that gets added thanks to the fully faired plastic bodywork and other technical components like the ABS unit. The engine doesn't sound great at low revs, but at full chat, it sounds genuinely good. The RS200 gets a shortened rake, so the handlebars are closer to the rider and the entire seating position is biased more towards comfort, is more upright than outright sporty. The seat offers good padding which adds to the comfort. The RS200's chassis balance is quite good, but the default suspension setting is on the softer side, and you could have a bit of a hairy moment, especially if you lean into fast corners. Sure, it'll work just fine on regular city roads at regular city speeds. But if you want to get in some track time or go knee-kissing around some snaky kart roads, we recommend you tune the monoshock a bit in favor of handling. Now, we got up to speeds close to 150 km per hour. That's plenty fast, but there are vibrations that tend to creep into bodily areas that, well, let's refrain from mentioning on a family show. The initial gears are susceptible to vibrations, so we were just short of short shifting, though through the first two cogs. But from the third gear on, we got the engine to about 9,000 RPM, and there was a pronounced buzzy sensation through the seat. The gearing is essentially the same as on the NS, but the sprocketing has been altered to help the RS achieve a higher top speed. What we really liked is how neatly and quickly the RS200 turns into corners. The steering is very responsive, and the slightly modified construction and compound of the MRFs that the RS was riding on makes a world of a difference. The brakes now. The RS200 is offered in two trims, ABS and non-ABS. We were on the saddle of the ABS version the whole time though, and that is a single channel, which means only the front wheel gets ABS equipped braking. Under hard braking, the front did keep its line and the brake bite was sufficiently effective. We'd have liked more feedback from the lever though, but the rear end tends to slide. Not at all what we expected, and a bit unnerving, frankly. The RS200, as can be clearly experienced, is more aggressive than the 200 NS. So expect the fuel efficiency to be a bit lower than the non-faired sibling at about 35 km per litre.
You know, all that loud chat about performance and dynamics is all very, very good, but at this price point, in this segment of motorcycling, it's also very crucial for the bike to look really nice. With the RS 200, I'm not really fully taken. I think it's a little too overdone. I think it's a little too forced. I think it's a little too busy. I think there's a lot going on. But at the same time, you be the judge.
The RS200 is placed in a segment where it fights against the likes of the Yamaha R15, Honda CBR 150R and the KTM RC200. It does manage to look slightly bigger than those, but crucially it also looks the most controversial. There's a sense of over-styling. The front is dominated by very peculiar bodywork that flows down the center and looks like an extreme snout, and the dual projector headlamps, well, that look reminds you of the latest R1, and we're not a big fan of those either. The tail lamps too are just a little bit too weird, and the rear section from the front seat on leading up to the lights reminds a bit of the Charisma and the original Extreme by Hero. Yes, strange. The RS200 is not as entertaining as the R15 or the RC200. Those bikes are in proper full attack mode from the word go, whereas the RS, well, you need to spend a little more time to get familiar with its boundaries and character. Its limits are not as great as its rivals, but at being a flaunt machine, it may actually be quite good as it manages to catch the eye in an instant, and that might be great, especially for younger buyers. At 1,30,000 for the ABS and 1,18,000 rupees for the non-ABS bike, it's not quite a steal either.